is CloudForce Sky? If you're joining us for the very first time, CloudForce Sky is a community of cloud enthusiasts who have come together to learn and build and also earn from their cloud expertise. Our community is open to any individual, any level, beginner, intermediate, expert. It is open to anybody who is willing to start their cloud career and learn. You can follow us on LinkedIn at CloudForce Sky, also on YouTube if you want to go back to our previous webinars. CloudForce Sky at YouTube and CloudForce Sky LinkedIn. So somebody's going to help me share the link so that you're able to follow CloudForce Sky. So without wasting so much time, we have our guest, who is Kelvin Tuei. Kelvin Tuei is a senior cloud and cybersecurity consultant. And today, he'll be unpacking the cloud career pathways. So if you've just landed to cloud computing and you're confused, a bit confused of the path you're going to take, whether DevOps, whether security, whether databases, machine learning, Kelvin is going to unpack these career paths. So take time to welcome Kelvin, if Kelvin is on the call. Kelvin Tuei.
Yes, talking of 1,000 tabs. Finally, I'm on the Google Meet tab. Thank you. I was just trying to look for where it is as I was trying to finish up my 3 slides that have nothing important rather than because we're going to have this discussion. So thank you so much once again, CloudForce Sky, for inviting me to this. As always, you already know, yes, thanks for those who are laughing. We do these slides last minute. So yeah, I was just finishing up on the last one just to confirm. Should I put this? Should I not? Should I say I'm senior or junior? Anyway, I was just joking. So let's get let me not say the show. Let's get the session started. So I'll share my screen because since I worked hard for these 3 slides, you have to see them, then we'll go to the discussion. So you better enjoy the slides and you better tell me that you're enjoying them. Anyways, let's get on to this. And I was supposed to move this slide here. Okay, thank you. I haven't shared my screen yet. So let me share my screen. Don't worry, I'm not going to use you're not going to use my slides after this because yeah, definitely you're going to change these out. Okay, so let's do this because as I promised, I only have 3 slides. Okay, they became 4 while I was doing this. So let's just do this. So this one obviously is not the slide that I worked on so hard. So I just put down there. And today we're going to be talking about exploring cloud career pathways. Why don't I have my name on the first slide? Because we're going to do this together. It's going to be a very nice discussion. I decided to do it a bit differently. But obviously, we need to make sure something for the camera, something for the recording, that there was something that I shared. Anyway, so let's get this started. Let's ask this first question. What did you wish to become while growing up? And I'd like to see what you are sharing on your chats. So let me know. Let me know what is in the chat. I'd like to see what you are sharing there. You can also see yours. Somebody is saying, kindly share my screen. I hope you could see my screen finally, Yusuf. Yeah, I'm more of a Zoom person, so but I think I can confirm that you can see my screen. So what did you wish to become while growing up? Let me know. I'm looking at the chat. Pius, you might be you. Pius, you're lying. A cybersecurity. How did you know about cybersecurity when you were 2 years old? How did you know about cybersecurity in cloud? Unatucheza. That is a lie. Anyway, I can see pilots. I can see doctors. Avionics. So how? Okay, I'm just wondering. Avionics is a simple way of saying pilot. It's a I can say a Jaluo way. Anyways, Okay, some decided to want to become people. Elon Musk, I don't know how much of a Gen Z or a Gen Y, but in my day and time, Elon Musk was a nobody. When I was young, I couldn't think of him. Okay, so engineer, you can see Nicholas engineer. We just wanted to be called engineer something. But at least you can become a software engineer. You'll still be an engineer. Doctor, yes, we just wanted to be doctors, but the moment Lucy was saying biology did its thing, there was something called binomial nomenclature. I could know the first part of the binomial nomenclature, I would forget the other ones. But I can never forget cannabis sativa, whatever that meant. Anyways, air hostess, thinking it was cool. Then you realize that they need height, Janet. Anyways, they need height, they need, wanasemaje, they don't want fupi nono round. They don't want that. So then I can see president. President, what does president at your small age, what do you think would be so good at that small age when you are growing up? So Bran is saying that I wanted to become an electrical engineer until the cutoff points. But kama wazazi wamewamoka, cutoff points don't matter, right? You just become what you want. But that is a story for another day. So you opted for computer science, and now you're a back-end engineer, love that journey, and now you are having an interest around networking and cybersecurity. Morgan, you wanted to hack people, like hack people. You're already hacking people when you are young. You are crying just because you wanted whatever just came in my mind that I cannot say. So you wanted that, and you are hacking people's mind, or maybe just crying because you just wanted to make people's pensive. So you are still already doing social engineering. Then finally, I think we can do, Brian, we are on the same dreams. So Brian, yes, dreams, okay. We just said dreams. So let me just share with you mine. I wanted to be a soldier. I thought I could do it until when I realized that you really don't have a big threshold to become a soldier, especially in Kenya. You only need to have 32 teeth that grew after the other ones fell off. You also needed to have no scars. You needed to be able to run some couple number of laps and do some crazy press ups as long as you've finished the high school, up to the high school system. Then I realized that even after that, I will have to go for 6 months in the wilderness. Then I said, thank God, Jesus Christ did it for me. I ain't going to go back there. I ain't going to go back there. So as long as Jesus went to the wilderness and I don't have to go there, why should I? Then obviously, at least I refound my love in cybersecurity. At least I knew I could be a digital soldier, if I can call it. That's pretty much the story of my life. But before that, we obviously all wanted to become what either of our parents are. And I thought maybe being an accountant would be a good thing. Then I realized that that time I saw big ledger books. My dad had big ledger books, and using a pencil, Statler HB pencil, just to write everything. Then I could say, how can I write all that in and these balance sheets, and I could hear him saying it is not balancing. I could hear people saying things are not balancing on the other side. I said, no way, I ain't go there. Yeah, so that's it. But yes, some of you answered this. What happened? Yes, what happened? And that is the reason why we are exploring cloud career pathways, because a lot happens. Like on Thursday, I think I shared this on my LinkedIn. I had the privilege of being in 2 different events. One event was for a group of awesome learners who are completing their restart program and graduating, and they were so expectant, they were so happy. I don't know whether it was a bittersweet feeling for them, but it was a very good thing. And I was telling them, now the world awaits. What will you do now from here? Not that you've become something job worthy, but at least you've become something worth understanding yourself, right? Yeah. So then in the evening, I also met another group of people who were starting out on their AWS cloud computing journey. I think they were around in their week 2 or week 3. And the many questions were so awesome. And basically, trust me, that is the, oh yeah, so I'm supposed to say about me. So, so what happened is I said a very controversial statement, of which I'll say it after I say my about me. Let me say my about me first. So the reason why I have to have an about me is so that at least I usually hear that if you don't say who you are and what you've achieved in life, maybe people will not take you seriously. So I have to do this. Allow me. This is the slide I worked so hard on, so I have to show you this. So that is me. I have around 7 years of industry experience. Maybe that is why people consider me a senior cloud and cybersecurity consultant. I've also do developing from time to time. I have short stints of contracts at Data Alma. I'm also a board member for SolarVis Technologies Institute, which is registered in Virginia, US, also has presence in Cameroon. That's how I became that is a story for another day, but it was simple. It started out with a workshop, and I decided to give more than I could. I couldn't stand doing a workshop with and you, Daniel, you're here. Don't take it as an offense. I'm talking about the Nigerians, and also if Nigerians hear this recording, please don't be on my case. But I think Nigerians have a good way of asking questions that is so aggressive up to a point you might feel like, no, let me just close this laptop and go. Because and can imagine if you are in a session with 30 Nigerians and you are doing a technical workshop, and all of them are saying, hey, can you just go back and what you're saying? So what happened is I couldn't just keep up. I had gotten the run book. I did the whole workshop in around 30 minutes. And I told the hosts, thank you so much. I've enjoyed the session. Please update these. I've shared my fork on the repo. Check it out. And maybe that is my contribution and I'm out of here. I think I wanted to go do something. Maybe it was on a Saturday. I wanted maybe to go watch a game or something. So that really interested the founders, one of the founders. And then what happened is he simply asked me to come in and support them and help them start the cybersecurity training in the institute. I did that, set up the curriculum from scratch. Then later on, I was shocked because it became like an interview that was never an interview. That is how I got in. And then one day he called me to a session and he was telling me, Kevin, we have decided we are going to focus on AWS and DevOps and data science and machine learning, and you are wrapping up cybersecurity, and you're going to outsource any kind of cybersecurity training to a certain different training organization. I was like, wow, that was, don't know, who was the shortest serving vice president? Was it Mudavadi? I felt like I've been done a Mudavadi, but what happened simply is he told me that, but we're not letting you go. We are elevating you to becoming the CTO because we've heard how you're able to deliver. You have been delivering a lot. You've done your best. You even wanted to wake up at 2 a.m. to train and do all those kind of things. So I was really happy about this. It's a big title, but trust me, it's not that I'm getting so much money, but I'm doing impactful things. Again, I do educate. I don't consider myself a lecturer, but I've done a lot in academia. So those are my key areas. LX Gold Fellow. Gold Fellow just means that I graduated in all the LX programs, and was considered in the top 5% across all the different programs across Africa. AWS Community Builder, you must be knowing that by now. It's one of the top-rated community builder programs with an 11% acceptance rate. This year they decided it's only going to be once a year to join the program, and currently on my 3rd year, so serving in my 3rd year. I've also helped in building projects, technical projects, hands-on projects at AWS Academy. I also lead an AWS Academy at an institution. Atlassian community leader. That means that there are only 2 Atlassian communities currently in Kenya. That is in Nairobi and Meru. And Michael is the one that leads the Nairobi one, and I lead the Meru one. So those are the two communities that are there currently. And I'm also part of the Atlassian Creator Program, meaning that I create content for them, and then they help me amplify it on my LinkedIn or any social media that I choose. Then Campus Outreach Lead in the Special Programs Committee. That just means that in ISACA is, if you know CISA, CISM, SIGAIT, or whichever, those, especially CISA, that is the certifications offered by ISACA Global. So I joined ISACA Kenya chapter in a very interesting way, still again through community stuff. I missed applying for a volunteer opportunity by one day, but I said I'm not going to let it down. So I contacted the people who are there, sent my application, and I said, can I send my application? Because I didn't want to waste my bundles and my time to do the application. They says, you can just send it as much as you're too late. Oh, I forgot to change my certifications. Anyway, I currently now hold 4 certifications. That is for AWS, Cloud Practitioner, Solutions Architect, Developer Associate, and recently Security Specialty. I also have many other certifications from other bodies like Huawei, GitHub. I've even forgotten to keep count, but that I have. I'm really into project management. That is where I want to transition into. And I love speaking, and that is why I am here. So I think that is much enough about me for you to just respect me enough to be the one to take you through this topic. And that is the end of my slides. And we get to the real thing. If you're thinking that I'm going to show you the cloud career pathways as a slides, you are wrong. Trust me. So let's get on to this. Has it stopped presenting? Good. So now let's do this. Thank you so much, Daniel and everyone. So let's get to this. And the reason why I asked you this question about, and let me do my video, maybe it will help you interact with me better, but I don't know whether I don't have my quality videos, but at least you can see me a bit. So the reason why I asked you what you wanted to be when growing up, it is the same question I would ask you. What would you want to be when you get into cloud computing? The thing you want now is not the same thing you'd want 1 year into cloud computing, 2 years into cloud computing, or 3 years into cloud computing. And the reason is simple, is because cloud is so vast. And let me now tell you the controversial thing I told some people last Thursday. I told them cloud is not that friendly to beginners. And I told them that is the real thing. Why? I told them I know a friend of mine, I'll not mention their name, and I'll not mention the organization. That person got a role at AWS, and I know another friend of mine who got a role. I'll not mention the company because some of you will know him, but it is a big cloud computing provider. But the reason why they landed those roles was simply because they had a very strong background in the area. For example, one had a very strong background in Cisco, had done even a ton of videos, had a channel with like tens of thousands of subscribers, and was able to architect enterprise network architectures. And he landed a role as a cloud network support engineer in AWS. So what does that tell you? Can you imagine if you're competing with that person and you're saying you're having an AWS certified cloud practitioner certification, and you know how to connect to a PC and a switch and a router on Cisco Packet Tracer? Do you think you can compete with that person to join AWS? Definitely not. So what does that tell you is when it comes to landing roles or cloud career pathways in cloud, yes, Solomon, you just have to first of all, have your technical fundamentals right. If you're taking note, better write that down. You better know you are networking very well. You better know your compute, normal things around compute. If you want to become into cloud development, you must have been able to let me put for a very funny way is you need to have made some small money selling to people WordPress sites and small sites with templates and making them feel like you did a lot of work. That is where you should have started from. Like you should have been able to develop something and send it, make sure it helps people. That is technically why when I started out on cloud, I started out as a cloud developer because I had a web development background. We were those people who would make clients feel like a WordPress site is the biggest thing they've gotten in the world. And then they'll pay us a couple tens of thousands of shillings. I I think Enold here. If Enold is here, you relate with this story, and please don't count on me. I'm not going to pull out other cats in the bag or something. Anyways, so any kind of role which you're going to see, because there are 7 of them which I'm going to talk about, any role needs a background in something. So don't lie to yourself that you're going to come here and give us the beautiful, I love the story. It's not, no offense to anyone, but I love the story of how you moved from a land surveyor to a cloud engineer, or from what? From an extension officer who does artificial insemination to cows to a cloud, whatever. It's a very beautiful story. But trust me, not every story goes like that, right? It goes as in it. You just have to get your basics right. So don't think it's just a jumping from artificial insemination to DevOps. It doesn't work like that. So let's get it onto it. The 7 one, then you can ask me questions, then we can close this show. Okay, so the first one, okay, if I can put it into categories, there are 2 kinds of roles in the cloud that you can, or pathways. If you're starting out and you're thinking about pathways, the first step, think about this. It is either customer-facing roles, or, okay, that didn't sound well when it came in my mind, but let me say it. It's just that I don't know, it didn't sound well, but back-end facing roles or something. I think let me put the end, it makes it better. But those ones who are there, engineering roles or something, yes. So those ones are the side, like back office, yes, back office people. So you can either choose, first of all, either of those 2 parts. It doesn't mean that those are the only ones, but if you're looking at cloud roles, it's better you look at them in those two perspectives. And maybe I can ask a question now. It can be a very good point. Which one do you think are the customer-facing roles in cloud? I believe all of you, some of you are here just maybe to listen to me and see whether I have a new story. I do have one, trust me. So, but I know all of you are very distinguished people in the cloud space. I can see you are over 53 here, so I'm very sure there's even someone here who is supposed to take this mic even better than me. But I can get it in the chat. Let me know. Which one do you think which ones do you think are cloud-facing roles? Okay, I can see cloud support. Yes, maybe cloud support engineers. Yes. Anyone else with one more I can do? Yes, I can see Meg. Meg, you'd already mentioned this. Solutions architect. Yes, solutions architect are customer-facing roles. So if you remember, there was a time there was a lot of layoffs in the tech industry. Even AWS, Microsoft, Apple, mention them. It was like a crazy time. You couldn't even go for a community event and talk to people about getting into tech. It was a very pensive time. And who can tell me, who do you think suffered the most? What was it, the ones in customer facing roles or those in back-end roles? Who can give an idea? I wish I did a Slido. I wish I could have done a lot of gymnastics around this session, but trust me, I didn't have time. I felt I could have done a Slido. You enjoy seeing pie charts and everything, but trust me, I didn't have the time. I wish I made more time for it, but I'm super busy on this thing. Yeah, so some of you are saying, who do you think faced a lot? So some are saying customer facing. What do you think? Good. Kinyi is saying backend. I love the way it is split. What about the others? We are like we are 53 people here. Hey, it's not me together with Trevor, Kiptum, Akinyi, or your Hope, Meg. So some are saying even both. Both, that is playing safe. Meg, you are playing safe. Anyways, I can see customer facing. So you're thinking that customer facing roles are the ones that that suffered the most. Okay, so let me burst your bubble. It's just that I have light behind me. But anyway, I should have done my thing here. Or maybe let me see. Let me see if I can change things out so that I can make you guys in. Yeah, I think this one looks better. Okay, if I do this. Yeah, so let me sit here. Good. So this way, at least my light is not going to come from behind. Yeah, so let me burst your bubble first. It was backend roles that suffered the most. Customer-facing roles are the ones that survived most of the tech layoffs. Why? Because we are human beings. If you come in today and tell me, like, I've been a maybe, let's say, a technical account manager for Hope and their company, then AWS comes and tell them, hey, I know you've been working with Kelvin for the last 6 years or the 5 years or 3 years, whichever number of years, but we'd like you to start working with Janet because we have laid off or because Kelvin is no longer working with us. What do you think that company, if it's AWS, they're risking losing that client, right? Because why? Because before any engineering or before any hard work has been done on the back end, there has to be some human connection. I believe you already know that people buy you, right? The reason why maybe somebody would call me to speak, even though maybe I might not be as bigger qualified or more qualified than another person, is because, hey, they say, I love the way Kelvin said things the other time, or how he did his presentation and how he kept time and how he did this and this, and that's why I'm getting him back. That is how you do, because people buy you. People don't want people who come and they are full of themselves, or maybe they are not engaging the audience and some of those kind of things. So customer-facing roles kind of survive in this tech space. So that is how it is. And yes, and that is what Morgan says. If you're a backend, I think you saw that thing about Google laid off its all Python dedicated Python team. Was it a Python team? I don't remember. But it was a whole team. Did we care? Did we even remember them? Did we even know who they were? We didn't even care. We moved on like no one's business. But if you tell me, like, let's say somebody like Aaron Hunter, who is a principal developer advocate at AWS, is no longer working at AWS, I was like, what happened to him? And the way he does an awesome content and everything, because or whichever kind of person, just using AWS as an example, but any cloud provider. If you're talking about, for example, I love the fact, I believe you already know that as AWS, I love what AWS did. They're able to put Stephen Howell from Microsoft as an advocate to AWS. Because anytime I was listening to Stephen Howell when he was talking about Microsoft stuff and how he did his presentations, I was just like, wow, this guy is just awesome. So if somebody somewhere at AWS is influential, say this guy is awesome, we get him. Whatever the price, we get him. So that is what I can tell you as part of the first part. When you're looking at your pathways, consider that. I don't mean that backend engineering is not good, but it's a good place to start, but don't end it at that. Make sure you have customer-facing acumen. That means that even if you are an engineer, you can work with customers, you can create architectures, you can be able to articulate technical terms in an untechnical way. You can influence a budget. You can influence a company to spend on your company. You can help increase its bottom line. And definitely, you're not going to be the first person to go. Next thing is now, after you've learned about these roles, you now need to look at, I've already mentioned you and I've told you the controversial thing. Don't come here with that beginner mentality. You're not going to really say, wow, welcome, here is a space for interns, or welcome, what do you want to learn today? No one has that time for you in cloud, so to speak. That is the clear thing. The only thing that we love beginners for in cloud is because it's good money for foundational certifications, good traction for getting started with what, with AWS, or getting started with database. Those articles, I'll do those articles any day, anytime, because I'll have traction on them. Because many people have beginnings, but they don't want to go further than that, right? If you give them one article that says getting started with RDS, and you give them like RDS multi-AZ caching best practices, trust me, they'll look at the first one and not look at the second one. So but the thing is, roles, people like companies love people who are more than beginners. Why? Because in the cloud it is fast paced. You don't have time before you want to know how Terraform works. A company has already wants to ship their software, so you don't have time to tell them, hey, I'm still learning Terraform init, plan, apply, and all those kind of things. They just want things up and running. Then you already know. I think I'll put them in 7 categories, and you can look at them any kind of way. And the best way to know about roles is you also look at the certifications, because certifications give an idea of the roles that are there. Because whether you are doing a certification before you get a job, or you're doing it after you get a job, the goals are different, but the role is the same, right? Because anyone who's doing a certification with an idea to get a job is doing that so that they are known for a certain role. And the one who is doing after they've already gotten a job, they're validating their skills over a certain role. And the roles, you already know them. Solutions architect, right? You don't have to talk much about it. You're the one who is working with the customer to create a design of how the solution will look like before the engineer or the developer does the hard work, whether it is ClickOps on the management console or infrastructure as code, whatever they're doing to do it. You don't care as a solutions architect. Your work is to deliver a very good architecture, a high-level architecture for the customer, and a detailed architecture for the engineer to implement. So that is one of the roles that you can be. So if you have an eye for detail, you have creativity, UI UX design has been your thing, and you love working with customers, then definitely a solutions architect role is something that you can easily find a soft spot for. Then the second one is the engineer, right? And most of the time, people come in as engineers before they become maybe architects. Sometimes you don't just get yourself into an architect role. Think of it like this way. You cannot just get someone, if I'm owning a hotel, I cannot just get someone today and tomorrow I'm letting them serve customers. What if they spill a drink on a customer, and then the customer puts a post on Twitter, and then it trends, and just like that, my business is gone? I wouldn't want that. So that is what you need to think about it. So maybe at first, if I get an intern, they'll go and wash the dishes first, or they go wash the sheets for the clients. They do housekeeping. Not that it's a bad thing, but they need to prove themselves first. Then there's specialist areas, if I can say that. For example, there's security, there's DevOps, there's networking, and now most recently we now have data and also AI/ML. So again, I'll repeat, specialist areas around security, around networking, around DevOps, around data. And don't confuse data with AI/ML. They are two different things. Data, that is how are you dealing with data that is used for an organization to gain insights. How do you engineer that data? How do you ensure that data are well stored and all that kind of things? And then finally, AI/ML. That is why now you can see AWS has come up with these certifications around AI and machine learning engineer associate. Simple as that. Then there are people like me who are very good with their mouths, but not really okay, not saying not really good with the keyboard, but they just don't want to go to the keyboard anymore and the mouse, because as you can see, we've already destroyed our eyes by looking at the screen too much, and we just want to use our mouth. And that is why you call us consultants, right? So we have consultants, and consultants are those people who just give you just enough for you to be interested. And when you start giving the money, they now give you the whole mix. That is how you can put it. So that is the consultant. Then we also have some roles that are quite generic. For example, like we're having like a project manager or a product manager or a program manager, whichever way you want to look at it. Then you also have those other areas that are kind of non-tech but are cloud related, like a cloud financial manager, because cloud is all about cost and cost optimization. You want someone who has an idea of how the company is doing its financial health, so that they have some acumen around cloud, so that they can see, is this cloud taking us to financial hemorrhage where we'll die paying AWS, or by continuing to pay AWS, we are continuing to thrive, just as an example. So that is in a nutshell how you do it. And since I believe you already know, and you must be having these, maybe just do a quick share of these, so that in case you have never seen it, you already know that AWS has the one that kind of a clear pathway. So let me just share these pretty fast, then I'll call it a wrap for you to ask me questions. So let me just share my entire, let me just share a tab. So once you see it, you let me know. Once it comes up, it's telling me it's coming up, and my system load is heavy because I've opened 1,000 tabs. But I'll find ways. That is why I also retired from Chrome. So can you see the screen? Someone can unmute. Janet, if you can unmute. I don't want to go back to the chat screen.
Yes, we can see your screen, Kevin.
Okay. So you already know this one. If you just Google AWS certification paths, you get this PDF, a very nice PDF that they came up with. And as you can see, it just mentions what we've just talked about. There is things around, if you just look at those lines that are purple, okay, I don't know that I'm in the right path, but this must be purplish. Architecture, you can see architecture. You can see data analytics. That is why I talked about data. There is development. Just I put everything under engineer. It's just a way, but everything around. But you can see that, right now there's a very blurry line between development and operations, and that is why you can see DevOps is really taking the lead on this. So you can see development, operations, and then they come together to become DevOps. But all of them, they are in one small, I may not call them small, but one kind of a room called engineering, right? Because, and that is where you can see every role is ending with the word engineer. As you can see that engineer. Only admin is just as an old way of calling engineer, but people don't even like being called admins. It reminds us of the on-premise side, on-premise days, where administrators would really make your life tough. Then yes, engineers. Then you have specialist areas, security, networking, and as I mentioned, AI, ML. So as I've mentioned, the reason why I also don't really go through these with a lot of heart and soul is simply because certifications are not the all in all for you to land a role. So don't lie to yourself if you do. And you can see they totally updated it. They even have the new certifications. Do you see that? Just zoom in a bit. So you can see when the new certifications have been added, the AI practitioner, machine learning engineer. Why? Because AWS is in the business of making money through training and certifications. So Don't lie to yourself that you become a prompt engineer simply because you've done these 4 certifications. It will never work like that. The thing is, you need to have the acumen around whatever is required on that. And the best way you can do this is by creating a portfolio around what you're doing. If you're getting into prompt engineering, for example, in this thing on AIML, then you should have been able to know what does it take, what are the basics around prompt engineering, and how have you been able to do it in your own kind of way to solve your own problem? Or are you the one who tells ChatGPT, no, I didn't want that as a prompt? Then what is that surely? Can you create a prompt that, you usually see even these days how people talk in WhatsApp groups. They just tell you that this one is not working, and they are sharing with you a picture from their phone, taking a picture to their screen that has glare, and it is 30 lines of code that you cannot even see clearly. And they say it is, and then they just caption it as it is not working. Anyway, that's a story for another day. And I think that pretty much covers what I was to share with you in terms of the pathways. I was just here to spark your interest and definitely for you to just get a feel of my personality. Thank you so much. Back to you, Janet, for any questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Kevin, for that wonderful presentation. I will open the floor for any questions to the presenter. You can either have it on the chat box, or if you're confident enough and you're good at talking, you can just raise your hand and then I'll be able to pick you. So the floor is open for any questions to Kevin.
Thank you so much.
Morgan
I
is
love
saying
the way
that
Morgan.
is the brutal truth.
Yes, that's the truth. Cloud is not okay. It's just that they put it in a very small way, but cloud is not for beginners. Just to mention that.
That is the brutal truth.
Yeah.
Yes. So please, if you have any questions to our presenter, Kevin, he's done an amazing work in unpacking the cloud career path. At least by now you have an idea. If I want to take a path, in fact, it started with a very interesting story of how guys at the back end were laid off. So I know some foundations have been shaken. I don't know who's that.
There's someone who says he's a land surveyor amekuwa attacked. Okay, we love your stories. We love your beautiful stories of how you moved from non-tech to tech. But it doesn't end there. You have to do more.
Okay, so it seems that we don't have any questions. Is it that we are not curious? I was told that if there are no questions, that means the presenter did a very wonderful work. Or it's you who never understood anything. So I don't know where we are. Okay, so Meg says, I would like to know how to join the path of AWS communities in Kenya. I always see people meeting up and I like to meet fellow cloud enthusiasts. So Kevin, a question to you, Kevin.
Oh yeah, so okay. I'm big on community. Actually, you just reminded me I was doing a Medium article that I never finished because I started writing it at 8, then life happened. But what I can say is you need to be intentional in terms of where do you want. There are communities I joined and I don't feel like they matter to me because they are nothing more than WhatsApp groups. They're nothing more than that. So you have to. Oh, by the way, you want me to spill the beans? I'm talking on 24th. That is on Saturday at 8:20 p.m. I'll be speaking at the Japan AWS User Group Pancreation 24-hour online event. It's starting from 24th to 25th, and then I'm going to talk about 3 ways of building cloud community, building communities without a title. So I'll be speaking about what I was just about to say. I was about to say a certain point, then my mind told me, hey, you are spilling the beans of what you're going to speak about on Saturday. But what I can tell you in a nutshell is interview communities. The way you would be interviewed for a role, interview communities, and fire communities that don't work for you. You don't have to be in every community in the country, or in every community in the world, for that matter. So that means is if a community is healthy, like for example, CloudForce Sky community, and it has all the different programs that are there to support you, and you don't have to be a who in who. Trust me, Meg, if you want to speak next week and you talk to Patrick and Janet, you'll get that opportunity. You don't have to show yourself as the who's in CloudForce Sky. But there are certain communities where you'll have to you have to lick a number of different shoes for you to just get an opportunity to speak to people, which I don't find anyway amusing. So that is what I can tell you is seek out people. I think there is also Nairobi DevOps community, which is a lovely community that I love. I'm not here to advertise communities, but if you're looking at different kinds of communities, I know there's a Linux learning series coming up, I think this Saturday, and it's kind of a paid event. It even had some people that had been sponsored. So look out for these kind of communities, search them out on LinkedIn, on X, wherever they are, and look at whenever they have an event, whether it's a Twitter space, whether it's a Google Meet, they'll definitely announce a physical meetup somehow, and you can join them. That is what I can put into perspective. But what I can tell you is, please audit communities. There are so many weird communities. I think I was with Alvin. It's just that I don't want to mention that community. I was shocked that that community has not had an event anywhere, and it is on Meetup, and those don't know what it is. And you are even telling ourselves, should we take over that community and just talk to the people who is whose, and just become the leaders of that community? Because we just hate it. People just start communities because they want to put them in their pockets, and it doesn't matter. I just hate that. Yeah, so it's just that I don't want to rant, but yeah, just audit the right communities that you should be in.
Okay, Meg, that is well answered. I believe you're satisfied with that question. Yeah, I can see your thumbs up. So I don't know if you have any other question. We can pick one more. But if we don't have any questions, I think we are going to end it at that. So a round of applause for Kelvin. If your expectations were met, please send some claps, send some love to Kelvin. Follow Kelvin on LinkedIn. Yeah. If you want to be updated, follow him on LinkedIn. Kelvin, you can share your LinkedIn handle for some
I'm sharing.
who have not interacted with you or heard you. They've just heard of you today. So follow him on LinkedIn. Also, you can follow us at CloudForce Sky on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and you can join our community via our website. So the links have been shared. Follow us on LinkedIn. Yeah, so there's the link to CloudForce Sky and also Kelvin's handle. So with that, a big thank you to everyone.
Thank you so much. I just have one quote. I always have to finish with a quote. I forgot to do that. Is the only thing that I ask you when you're doing any career pathway is don't compare yourself with others. Someone might be smiling, but they are hiding under a mask and they are crying so much. They might be looking like they are doing their best on LinkedIn. They are senior of senior software engineers, but they are crying. So don't compare your journey with other people's journey. And I'm done.
Thank you. That is a nice parting shot. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. You're in your own race. Thank you once again, Kelvin, actually for finding time and also unpacking the cloud career pathway. So from us, CloudForce Sky, a big thank you to everyone who has found time to attend our webinar. A recording will be available on YouTube. Also, please don't forget, follow us on LinkedIn and also join our community. From us here at CloudForce Sky, we wish you a blessed night. See you in the next webinar. Bye-bye.